Uganda's HIV prevalence has significantly declined to 5.4%. However, achieving zero transmission by 2030 remains a critical goal. Interventions such as PrEP and awareness campaigns are being scaled up to meet this target. Reverend Canon Gideon Byamugisha opened the event with a sermon praying for those who have died, those living with HIV, and vulnerable groups. He shared his experience living positively and urged the government to revise HIV-related laws.
Parliament tried to address that question. Deliberate transmission of people who say Nafanzeka. So they did a good job. But those of you who reach parliamentarians say you didn't do a very good job. You rewarded back 50%. One is they didn't define how deliberate is deliberate, because otherwise the children will begin suing their mothers. Why did you give me virus? Two, they didn't introduce another equivalent of the first one, that when you punish deliberate transmission, you should also punish deliberate acquisition. Right now, the burden is on the positive person. What about
Undersecretary Geoffrey Seremba, representing the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, highlighted the ministry's commitment to allocating 0.1% of its budget to HIV prevention.
The Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities recognizes that HIV/AIDS is still a threat, and as a self-coordinating entity, the ministry is mainstreaming HIV/AIDS activities at the workplace. And we are in the process of developing the HIV/AIDS workplace policy, which will support the implementation and monitoring of a number of HIV/AIDS activities.
Charles Otai of Uganda AIDS Commission acknowledged the progress made, but warned of persistent challenges like stigma, complacency, gender-based violence, low condom use, and the country's heavy reliance on foreign funding to address the HIV scourge.
This is where now we see the reverse in terms of gender, in that recently we're seeing the deaths were occurring more among the men compared to the what? The women. And yet we have more women living with HIV compared to the men. So this explains that the poor health-seeking behaviors of the men, they delay to seek for treatment, and the response is not as good as that of their counterparts. Okay? So the deaths are still occurring, and we have to reduce them further.
A drama by the AIDS support group addressed cultural misconceptions surrounding AIDS, aligning with the theme Ending AIDS by 2030, Building a Sustainable HIV Response. The event emphasized the importance of community-driven leadership and sustained local funding to preserve progress and address ongoing challenges. Wadulo Arnold Mark for UBC News in Kampala.